Hey there, welcome to another Two-Wheeled Wednesdays. Today I'm in Baker City, Oregon, way up in the northeastern corner of Oregon. And today we're going for a gravel ride. It's a ride that I found on Dirty Free Hub, and it's called the Washington Gulch Loop, or something like that. It starts and finishes here at the old Churchill School in Baker City. This was a small school at one time. It was added on to over the years. Now it's not a school, but it's a community gathering place. They do movies and art installations. I think it might be a B&B if you want to rent the whole thing. It's a pretty cool place out here on the west side of Baker City. So what we're going to do today, it's about a 25-mile loop, and it goes up into the hills southwest of town, and it goes to some pretty historic places. So I want to get this done before it gets too hot. So let's roll. Baker City is at the intersection of three Oregon state-designated scenic byways. And heading south out of town on Highway 7, you're riding on two of them, the Oregon Scenic Byway and the Journey Through Time Scenic Byway. I'll put links to both of those in the description below. The part of both byways that I'm riding today rolls through the Bowen Valley along the Powder River. The Powder River keeps the valley lush and, in contrast to the surrounding landscape, quite green. So the first couple miles, we're going through Baker City, but then eventually you pop out of town at the south side of town and get into this more typical scenery for northeastern Oregon, the high desert. But you're also out on Highway 7, complete with logging trucks and plenty of traffic. We'll get off that soon. The Bowen Valley, the lowlands along the Powder River, and the surrounding hills have been used by humans as hunting, fishing, and foraging grounds for centuries. Archaeological evidence of indigenous people found in the marshy soil near the river dates back thousands of years. The Cayuse, Umatilla, and Nez Perce people lived in and around this area. The Nez Perce were the predominant people here when the first white men and women began arriving in the early 1800s. Now this is typically what you think of gravel in northeastern Oregon.
I've downloaded the route from the Dirty Free Hub website onto my Garmin, and Garmin is telling me that there's one climb on this route. I'm on it right now. Yeah, just one climb. It's more than 10 miles long, and I think you gain about 2,000 feet of climbing.
The Oregon Trail passed through what is now Baker City in the first half of the 19th century, and tens of thousands of settlers traveled through the area, but a settlement didn't begin until the 1860s.
Well, we just lost a bunch of altitude that I worked hard for, but at least it was in the shade. It's nice and cool. Smells really good.
Gold was discovered here in the hills south of town in 1861, and a mining town called Auburn boomed. Within a year, more than 4,000 people lived in Auburn, and it was designated the Baker County seat.
So this part of Oregon was big gold mining country, and there's still some gold mining going on, and there's some claims apparently up along this creek, up along this road. But I'll let announcer Chip from back in the studio tell you more about that. I'm just going to concentrate on riding my bike. He can tell you about all the history of the region.
Right. As I was saying, the gold played out quickly, and by 1870, Auburn was, for the most part, deserted. It's a ghost town today, just a few old grave sites, and is located about a mile from the southernmost point of today's route.
All right, well, we're still on the big climb. About halfway through. Still have about 5 miles and about 950 feet more to go. And then it's all pretty much downhill back to Baker City. Yeah, some of this really loose, steep stuff, I decided to walk it. I'm out here in the wilderness. I haven't seen anybody or sign of people. If I go down on this stuff, I'd be in big trouble out here by myself. So yeah, I'm walking. No shame, no regrets. All right. Well, I'm up near the top. According to Garmin, I still got almost 3 miles to go before the actual top. But I feel like I've Got most of the climbing behind me. We're at about 5,100 feet or so. So, a couple thousand feet above the valley floor. It's pretty cool up here. All right, well, that's the end of the climb, and yeah, looking north here, give you a better angle. Those are the Wallowa, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, mountains. Sometimes they're called the Alps of Oregon. It's kind of hazy today, so you can't really see. But we'll get some better looks on the way downhill. And that's the end of the climbing, and now it's back down to Baker City, which is down there.
This downhill section of today's route roughly follows the old Washington Gulch Road. Baker City was platted out in 1865. The Washington Gulch Road was the major transportation thoroughfare between Baker City and the city of Auburn. The road avoided the somewhat swampy and seasonally flooded route through Bowen Valley along the Powder River. But by 1865, the population in Auburn had already started to dwindle quickly as the gold ran out, and the county seat was transferred to Baker City in 1868.
Wow, that was a steep stop. I'm glad the route had us going this way. I'd have been walking up that for sure. Pretty cool. I think that might be the end of the gravel part of the ride. So now it's just ranch land and back to town.
In addition to 3 scenic byways, a state-designated scenic Bikeway also goes through Baker City, and out here west of town, the Washington Gulch Loop rides on part of it. It's the Grand Tour Scenic Bikeway, one of just 17 Oregon bikeways around the state. The Bikeway is 134 miles long and can be done in one day, but it's a figure-8 route which crosses itself in the small town of Union, about 35 miles north of Baker City, so you could break it into 2 loops with Union as your base camp. I'll put a link to that route in the description below.
All right, made it. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That grueling at times, but it was fun. Yeah, there's those towers. We went behind those towers and out and around like that. It was great. Okay, I don't know where you're watching this video from, but you might want to check out the Dirty Free Hub website. I'll put a link in the description below. They have a library full of great rides like this one. Ranging in distance all the way from 10 miles to 150 miles or more. I don't know, I haven't checked them all out. They've got some new ones called the All Access routes, which are easier and shorter and easier to get to. So if you're just thinking about trying gravel riding for the first time, you might want to check that out. But this was good. This was fun. All right. Well, thanks for joining me for another Two Wheeled Wednesdays. I hope you enjoyed the ride and the walk. And I hope you enjoyed what Studio Chip told us about the area and, the gold mining and the indigenous people that lived here. It's a pretty historic area. So I hope you enjoyed some of that. I sure did. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're out exploring new places, although I highly recommend it, or if you're just riding the same route that you always ride, just for some fresh air and sunshine and a smile. It doesn't matter, because life is twice as good on two wheels. And we'll see you next time. Time for some ice cream.